Verizon Enterprise Solutions is a division of Verizon Communications based in Basking Ridge. On Verizon's business and government clients around the world. Only on Verizon Enterprise. We're not ready. Your partner behind the scenes, Verizon Enterprise Solutions. Visit VerizonEnterprise.com. Today's show is Pink Shorts. Today is October 27th. Adobe Willustrator pre the resume of myself. Someone else. Well, that's all I'm making a left turn on. Kenmore onto Delaware the credit card. Regulations say yes, there's an A plus on this stock. Yes, there is a Sunoco. Yes, there's a Timothy Hollick calling at this intersection. MerriweatherA.Law, LiaYAHOO, Sound Truck, Sound Zoning, LKBRUYx, Voting by Aliens X21. Play your cards right. VMerry02, vSiri, vAllie, CDMA, Code Division Multiple Access, and GSM Global System for Mobile. Supervisor Ethan, ethnicities must separate. Emma title email, title VI, HSBC beside phone, or 1048 refund. Mistakes in programming differences. Mouse swipe the only way to go. Our video is now ready. Live IMEI connection with the White House. Hello,
all right,
guys.
good afternoon, everybody. Nice to see you all.
Hello, Josh.
I do not have any announcements at the top, so we can go straight to questions.
Straight to
Mr. Frank,
questions.
if you want to go first?
Data video is October 26th, yesterday. White House press briefing.
White House played, if any, in
Hello, Voting by Aliens 21.
the Pentagon to stop recoupment of these enlistment bonuses that were sought from some National Guard members.
Well,
Well,
Kevin, as you know,
as you know,
the president
the president
makes the fair treatment
makes
of our
the fair
service
treatment
members
of our service members
a top priority.
a top priority.
So do officials of the Department of
So
Defense.
does food poisoning. Very
and
serious.
as I alluded to yesterday, the
As I
president has
alluded
been
to
pleased,
yesterday,
to see in the last 24
It's our
hours,
call.
the Department of Defense
The
made some
Department of
specific commitments
it's to investigate.
to ensuring that our
To
service members
ensure
are
the
treated
service
fairly.
members are trained.
When a
When
promise
a
is
certain
made to our
promise is made,
men and women in uniform,
men and women in uniform,
we should keep it.
we should keep it.
It certainly
And
is the view of the
broken.
president.
Captain Broken
And we
tonight on
certainly wanna avoid a
Notorious
situation
ABC.
where service members are punished
We can't punch anyone,
because
Or
of
punish them.
nefarious or fraudulent
various or fraudulent.
behavior by someone
Food
else.
poison is all we can do.
So we need to make sure that this
So we need to make sure
the
UCLA
process is
and the
fair.
state police
And I
understand
noted
that.
yesterday that
Yesterday,
a long
you can't
delayed
determine what's in there.
completion of a complicated
Toxicology
process
is needed.
could prevent people from being
Could
treated
prevent food poisoning.
fairly. So the commitments that the Department of Defense has
Department
made
of Health
are to
first
first and
and
foremost
sustain
ongoing collection
ongoing
activities.
collection.
May take a few days
May take
for
a few
that
days
to take effect,
To
given
take effect, we're not giving
the
any
complicated
samples.
nature of the payroll system at the
Payroll
Department of Defense.
system,
But
but
they're going to suspend those collection
they're going to
efforts
suspend those
and
collection
implement
efforts and implement
a more streamlined
a
and
more
efficient
streamlined
process for
process for
the appeals
evaluating
that are-
missing phones
have been made by the
in
thousands
the
of
ER. Budget enterprise.
California National
We won't
Guardsmen
be
and women
there in a
who were
car
affected
accident.
by this particular situation. So
So we got a stolen
we
phone in
certainly
the
welcome
ER.
this response from the Department
Yeah,
of Defense.
thank you,
It'll be important
Budget
for them to follow
Rent a
through
Car
and
and
take the
Enterprise.
steps to ensure the
Today's show is sponsored by
men and women of California National Guard know
VerizonEnterprise.com,
that the commitment
your
is
partner
their
behind the scenes. And Rear End Collisions Reincarnation.
Some people
Hello,
have
David
been
Reincarnation.
making
Installed
according to the
only
LA
on
Times story.
Verizon.
There's been some hardship from
Yeah,
from
we
some
got
of the
it.
service
Just a
members who
phone.
have been doing so. Is the White House or the Defense Department considering some way to reimburse some of these service members or see if they're made whole again?
well again
Again,
the focus here at
the
least
money
from the perspective
monster
of the
is won't be
Commander-in-Chief,
here.
is that we're going to make sure that everybody
We're
gets
gonna make
treated
sure that
fairly,
we're not in
including
car
people who
accidents and
may have had legitimate
reincarnations.
claims to keep their bonus,
To
but
keep
have
their
already
bonuses
tried to do the right
and
thing by
kickbacks
repaying,
and affinities.
or at least follow the instructions that they've
follow the
received to
instructions.
repay it. So
Restitution.
I'd refer you to the Department of Defense for how exactly those situations will be handled. But the president is mindful
Today's
that
show
there
is
are
sponsored
some
by Verizon.
National Guard
Want better
who find
wine?
themselves
Listen
in that
to your
situation.
apes. Verizon AG Tech. Vineyard uses Internet of Things. technology to monitor vine stress and bring efficiency to your vineyard. Learn more at VerizonEnterprise.com.
Joint military exercises.
And David Reincarnation.com.
This week we saw an
You got
annual
it.
meeting to sort of plan out those military exercises. It's canceled till late November. So is he confident that
Hello, Mitty. How are
the
you?
exercises will continue, or is this another sort of problem that has to be overcome?
Hallelujah.
Well, for the logistical
Well, for the
details,
logistical details
of planning
of
a large
planning
military
a
exercise,
large
I'd
military
refer to my
exercise
colleagues at Pacific Command,
at Pacific
uh,
Command.
at the Department of
At
Defense.
the
What I can
Department of
tell you
Defense.
is
What I can tell you
that we
is
have received
we
no
have
formal
received
communication from
from
the government in
the
the
government
Philippines expressing a desire to make
expressing
specific changes in the
suggestion
nature of
aborted
our relationship or our
relationship
alliance.
with our alliance.
So the
So
United States
the
remains
United
committed
States remains
to
committed to
the pursuit of
pursue
shared objectives,
shared objectives.
and the pursuit of those objectives
The
has
pursuit of those
benefited
objectives is
the
food
people of the
poisoning.
Philippines, and it is indicative of the
Before you plan, you're already
seven decade long alliance
decades
between our two
alliance
countries.
between
And we have received no
And we have
formal
received
notification from the Philippine
from the
government,
Philippines,
despite the
despite
rhetoric
You
of some
got it.
senior officials there, indicating that they're prepared to change.
indicating.
What's your understanding of why this week's meeting was canceled?
Swipe your card, you're
Department of
guilty.
Defense, to be honest with you, I had no knowledge of the meeting, so you should check with them.
And Donald Trump, he's at the hotel.
Today's show is sponsored by We Paid.
Today.
Yeah, not too far away. Not too far away.
Imagine.
Yeah, yesterday he was.
Well, in some ways, it's a really long way away,
We passed, so now we sit.
depending on how you look at it.
Yesterday he was saying that
Only
Secretary
Verizon
Clinton's
technology
policy
best practices can help improve your vineyard.
World War
In
III
water climates, water management is critical to the conversation and balance of freshwater ecosystems and agricultural production. Sustainable
I think it's
viticultural practices and irrigation management can help improve market share among customers. Willing to pay. Once we pay, we can make it up. A premium for vines produced using environmentally friendly management methods, best practices in carefully monitoring
There are other
and delivering
times where he's
of water
chided,
effect vine health
his
can
opponent
help improve
for
yields and can ultimately help
being
the
too
produce
tough
better
on
wine.
Russia
Only from Verizon Enterprise.
we
We're not
know
ready.
is targeting
Targeting
civilians
civilians.
in
We need
Syria
rags.
to try to achieve their
We
own
need rags, White House. We need
political
rags.
objectives in that country.
We need cloths.
We also know that Russia has been engaged in an effort to
We need
shore up
cloths.
the Assad regime
Yeah, he needs
in a way
rags. Where
that
does he
makes
get
it
them
more
from?
difficult for us to
For
resolve
us to resolve
the political
the
situation
political
inside of
situation
Syria that
inside of Syria.
we know is critical to
We love
ending the
Syria.
violence and chaos there. So
So
it's difficult
it's
to
difficult to
discern exactly what
concern exactly
he's advocating for,
what
even
he's
in the
advocating
context
for.
of,
The context.
of an interview that your news organization did
It's
with
a
him to try to
Verizon.
elicit
It is.
greater clarity about that.
It
But,
is.
When you look at the
When
totality
you
of his
look at the
remarks,
totality,
even over the last several
even over
months,
the last several
it's
months,
difficult to
it's difficult to
figure
win.
out if he knows what he's talking about, and if he does,
We're 0 in
what
a million.
policy he would vow to pursue as
We've
president.
never lost.
dangerous to
We've never
say
lost.
things like World War III in that
Captain
context.
Broken, we never lost.
Well, again,
Well, again.
the president on a number of occasions has,
Tonight on an
expressed
all-new
some significant
CBS,
concerns about the rhetoric
Pure
that's being used by the
Genius,
Republican nominee.
at
But,
10. The pilot episode of
but
Veteran
I'll leave it to all
Surgeon
of you to try
with
to
a controversial past is
figure out
enlisted
what
to
exactly that
run an
means
ultra-modem
for
hospital
what kind of
with a
policy
cutting-edge
he pursues.
approach to medicine in the premiere of this drama.
Michelle.
Pure
Josh,
Genius,
with the numbers that we
tonight,
saw
only
yesterday coming out
CBS.
on Obamacare, to what extent did the administration see that coming? I mean, are the numbers of
Hello,
premium
Michelle, how
increases
are
on
you?
average bigger than you guys expected?
Hello,
Well,
Keith Morrison. We love your show yesterday.
I think there are a couple of things that are important for people to
There was a
understand.
couple of things to
about
understand
these
about-
premium increases, and
We love everybody. Everyone's
we
great.
have seen, and what these numbers do show.
Yeah, we
is that
love
there are a number
everybody.
of communities
Everybody's
across the
so
country
nice
that
and
will
kind.
see
We love
a significant
everybody.
increase in the premiums
In the premium
charged by
charged
insurance companies that
On
are selling
insurance
plans
companies
on
and health plans.
the
Humana
marketplace. What's
at
important for
Walmart
people to understand about this is
is
that
sending about this. For
most
human
people don't get
trafficking
their health care through the
Americans.
marketplace.
in the world.
The vast majority of Americans get their health
Mr. Ernst, how are we
care,
human
their health
trafficking,
insurance
humana,
from
the
their
world?
employer, from Medicaid, or from Medicare. And for the large number of Americans,
Humana
about 50 million
IDs.
Americans who get
What are we
their health
doing here?
insurance through their employer, we've
Yeah,
actually seen the growth in
humana
premium
identification card.
increase has been remarkably low.
Human
in
aid.
fact,
In
when you
fact,
total up the savings over the
we
last
total
several
up the
years
savings
from
the last few
reduction
years,
in the growth
a
in
reduction
those costs,
costs.
the typical family in the United States has actually saved $3,600.
Lunch and learn.
That's a substantial savings.
Substantial savings.
And doesn't factor
And
in
doesn't
the kind of
fact-
savings that are enjoyed by the businesses
enjoyed
that are
by-
also paying
Also
for
paying
their employees to
for
get
their employees to get
access to health insurance.
access to
So,
health insurance.
when it comes to the marketplace
When it
itself,
comes to the marketplace,
it's also important
It's
to
also
understand that the
important.
vast majority of people
The vast
who are purchasing
majority
health insurance through the
to
marketplace
the marketplace,
benefit from
benefit
tax credits that
the
make
tax
that health
credits,
insurance more affordable.
health insurance,
So even the wide reports
wide
that we're seeing of
reports,
some premium increases
premium increases,
won't have an impact on the
Won't
majority
have an
of people
impact.
who are signing up in the marketplace because
The
they get
marketplace.
tax credits that offset
kept
that
and
increase in
broken.
cost. But the president is concerned
But the president is
that there are
concerned
some
that there are some
middle-class families
middle-class families
who are purchasing health
who are
insurance at the
purchasing
marketplace
health insurance in the marketplace
and don't get the
and
substantial
don't
benefit
get the
associated with
substantial
tax credit.
benefits.
And the president believes that's a
And
problem.
the president believes that's a problem.
Even if it doesn't.
Even if it
one that
doesn't
affects a relatively small percentage
A
of Americans.
small
We're still
percentage of
talking about
Americans,
a number of people
a number
that
of people
the president is hopeful
who
that
have
we
been
can
sodomized,
cut healthcare costs.
cut healthcare costs.
Now,
Now,
it's important to remember that
it's
even
important to
people in
remember
that
to keep your
situation
hands to yourself.
benefit from the Affordable
An
Care
ear
Act because
canal
they have the kind of options
There's an
and
anal
choices
canal.
and offerings that were
An
not previously
offering.
available to them before the Affordable Care Act.
Don't
went into effect.
pull.
So how do we
So
build
how do
on
we
the progress
determine
that we've made?
sodomy?
And the president has put forward several ideas. The first
Several
is
ideas.
one thing we know we
One
could
thing we
do
know we can do
is that if
is
every
that
state expanded Medicaid,
every state expanded Medicare.
that would lower premiums for everybody.
That would lower sodomy
and
rates
in those
in the
states
ears.
where Medicaid has not been expanded,
Medicaid has not
that's
been
actually put
expanded.
upward pressure on premiums.
There's a good upper
That's not a
pressure.
good outcome. And
That's
so if
not
we're
a
looking at
sodomy.
ways that we can cut healthcare costs, let's do right by all of our
An ear
citizens
has
and
a
ensure we're
hole.
expanding Medicaid. Another
Besides
idea that the
piercing.
president's put forward is let's offer a
And
special
you
tax
can't
credit
pull.
for young adults
Young
to
adults.
give them an even greater incentive to participate in the
Attempted
marketplace.
robbery charges
We know that
are on the way
that would have a positive impact on the risk pool.
to prove our
and,
sodomy case.
would also put downward
We've got to
pressure
prove it every day.
on potential price increases.
Potential
So there are a number of
So
proposals
there's a
that the
number of
president's put
pulling
forward.
things you can't pull.
The unfortunate situation we find ourselves in is that
Tampons have
Republicans would much
cords.
rather play
Tampons
politics
have
than
cords.
solve
You can't
problems.
pull.
And that is true
That is
with
true.
the Republican approach to a
With
wide
the
range of
Republican
issues,
approach.
but there's no better example
There's
of
no
their approach
intent to pull anything else.
to play politics and not solve problems.
You
than when
can't
it comes
pull
to the
people's
Affordable Care Act.
things.
Because we know that that Republicans
You
have
can't pull.
proposed or have actually voted more than 50 times to repeal the
just can't
Affordable Care
pull.
Act that would, oh, by the way, significantly increase the deficit.
You're going to pull
Strip
body parts next.
Health care from 20 million Americans who
can't
got
pull.
it because of the Affordable Care Act or got it since the Affordable Care
So that
Act.
shows
went into
why you can't pull.
effect, and would have the effect of undermining the kinds of consumer protections that we all enjoy.
You
even
can't
including those of us who
pull.
get
You just
our
can't
health insurance through our
pull.
employer. So Republicans are just looking for the political benefit of being able to
It's
say
connected
they
to our
oppose the
ear
Affordable Care Act
bone. The bone,
and
ear
not
bone's
actually
connected
looking for
to
the kinds
the
of constructive solutions
other
that would
bone, and the
reduce
other bone's
costs
connected to the
and expand access
anal
to quality,
bone.
affordable
You
coverage.
just can't.
The
It's
most
so
important thing,
linked
I know this has been a
together.
long
You
answer,
know,
but
you
it's a
just can't
complicated
touch them.
issue, is
It's intent to touch them
people should
somewhere
not be
else.
dissuaded
Anywhere with an opening.
from considering the options that are available to them on the marketplace.
Drops, drops, drops.
And I think in many ways that
Yeah,
is our
it's
chief
rape
concern.
all over
The
again.
open
It's rape.
enrollment period.
Tonight on Notorious, Captain Broken. Jake's affair
And
with
if you
Sarah is
Don't have health
revealed
insurance right
on
now,
live TV,
or you
CNN.
purchased your health
But he
insurance
also learned a disturbing
off the
secret about
marketplace
her
and in the
as he's
individual market,
surprised by fresh
or if you
allegations.
last year did
Meanwhile,
purchase
the
health
show's
insurance
canceled.
through our-
The disturbance,
It's important for you to
disappearance
go
of a
back
girl from a
and see what
wealthy
options are
background
available to
gets
you
a
this year.
wall-to-wall coverage
There is actually
by the
good
media.
evidence to
So
indicate
Julia
that
turns her
you may
attention
be
to a
able to
victim.
purchase a
The
plan
public really knows they
at
haven't
the
been
same-
successful in their plan.
at a comparable benefit
Tonight on
level
Notorious, only on ABC.
that costs less than what you paid in 2016.
Where we're still waiting on
So
Missing.
there are good options.
We're still waiting
available
on
to people out there.
Telesecret.
And it's important that
You
people are
know,
not confused
when
by
is
the
this stuff
headlines
happening?
and understand the true impact
Understand the true
of
impact
this law. It
of
doesn't
this
cost
canceled
anything to
show.
shop around. And the early evidence that
is
the vast majority of people who shop around
are
going to find a good deal and maybe even save some money.
Well, I'm very excited to do today's show. I'm wearing Savvy from head to toe. I did everything you wanted me to do it. You wanted.
Did you see it?
It's on the vets in stores. Audio experience. 11 song. Don't pull. You might pull tampons. Motivational speaker. Richest man in America. Universe. World. Galaxy. Paint the short way. I saved your file. Send me some of that peach cobbler. Highest paid singer in the world. Tweet us via early or late at FRESH_.
The decisions that are made about pricing are
Bad
made by
decisions
private companies.
in healthcare in
There
1980.
is greater
Beverly Hills
transparency to
Polo.
those decisions that is
JORDOANZ.
required by the
Every
Affordable
20
Care
minutes
Act.
of the hour.
The only
I
reason
wish
we're
I
having
could
the
do this
discussion we're
ceremony.
having right now about the increase in costs is because of the Affordable
I'm
Care Act
ordained.
imposed additional requirements on insurance companies to disclose what those costs are.
Yeah, he's ordained. He can do
So
the ceremony.
I guess the point is, Michelle, the United States government is not
The
responsible.
Church of
for setting
EOC
those
Lynn will be
prices.
on
These are
today.
prices that are
Watch us
determined by
for
private
spiritual
health insurance companies.
health.
They're in a regulated market,
Only on
so
the
we do have
Church of
some
EOC
impact to-
Lynn.
and we do have
Spiritual
an ability
health.
to impact some of those
Let the
strategies. and there
Lord
are some
be with
constraints
us
they're operating under.
everywhere in
But
the
ultimately,
world.
those
Only
decisions are
on
made
Church
by
of
private
EOC
companies.
Lynn, Nicole.
That is a no.
Well, I think you should take it as this is a
And new
private
Sean
enterprise.
Miller.
It's regulated by the federal
Debbie
government.
Miller
There are
6.
constraints that are imposed.
You
on
mean
the
this
private
has to
system
do
in
with
a way that does protect
a
consumers
first
and
student
protects middle
job?
class families and limits the cost. Or
Only
limits
Debbie
the
Miller
increase,
6, Sean Miller,
in prices, but
and
ultimately the
Nicole.
prices are set
Only
by
on the
private
Church of
companies.
EOC Lynn.
And so that certainly is going to limit our
Remember,
ability to
311 off to
dictate
speed your
an
screening
outcome we'd
process.
like to
Us
see.
be in line and we flew those ways.
Some of the strains
Must be in a
of
3-ounce
this
size container.
stuff.
American United.
Sure
Fly
is
with us.
pulling
My
out in
frequent
some
flyer card
states
that's a pound.
completely.
422.
Did you feel like this was going to be a year
Happy birthday,
coming
Randall
where you would
Stephenson.
see a jump?
182511.
Michelle,
Written
the other
intercepting
thing that's
wire.
part of it answering
Oral.
this question is that
Electronic
there are some
communication.
states where
Well,
the average cost went down.
you know the other part.
So
You
there's a
won.
lot of variety across the country in terms
Across
of
the
what the
country?
impact has been.
And the
It's an
Electoral
indication that
College
there are some states that are
that are
doing this the right way.
doing this the
There's
wrong
some
way.
states that have
There's
expanded
some
Medicaid,
states who have a voting
that have
machine named after me.
invested their own resources
Invested their own
in building
resources.
a marketplace that have
Dominion
worked
voting
effectively
They're in.
with the citizens of their states to recruit people to sign up.
Don't you get it?
And ensure the kind of broad, diverse risk pool that benefits everyone
Car
in terms
service.
of reducing costs. So some states have
Some
done this
states
the right
have
way.
done this the right
And
way.
there are several useful comparisons about states that have made an honest effort to look out for their constituents and implement this policy to maximize the upside for middle-class families. The growth in healthcare costs is not nearly as significant, or healthcare insurance costs.
Insurance costs.
Is not nearly as significant
Nearly
as it is in
significant.
comparable states.
Comparable states.
California's a good
California is a good example.
example. Another example that we've seen
Today's
is
show
actually
is sponsored by
Arkansas.
MerriweatherA.Law in America's
That's a
first
state
singing
that did,
attorney. We make the law sound wonderful.
closely with HHS
The way it should have been
to tailor
expires.
a Medicaid expansion
Besides thing.
that is
Only
actually
from
proved
MerriweatherA.Law
beneficial
in.
for the citizens of their state. It's also proved beneficial for the fiscal situation of the state government.
Wait, we got a text
And
message here.
they've
Hold on.
also taken that
Who was it
collaborative
from?
approach to expanding
It's from
Medicaid and
Anonymous.
applied it to the construction of
And
the
I says,
marketplaces
have
in
a
that
good
state.
show.
And the
I won't be
growth
here
in
today.
healthcare costs in
Oh, okay.
Arkansas is much
Thank you,
lower
Anonymous.
than it is in a state like
Initiative.
Oklahoma, with whom they share a
Thank you for the
significant
text
border,
message.
a state that has been hostile to the Affordable Care Act, that has
Incoming
refused
text
to
message.
expand Medicaid,
Yeah,
that has
they go.
opposed efforts to
To
ensure the efficient
Ensure.
functioning of their marketplace. And in Oklahoma, you're seeing prices get jacked up.
prices get
So,
jacked up. I love a song.
I
Close the
guess if anything,
doors.
Michelle, what we
Seat
have,
belt.
what this does
The
illustrate,
music will sink
is that
into
in
the
some
sound
states,
system. Temperatures on 67
Republican
degrees. Only
politicians
they do
have
what they
been
do.
reasonably
We're in the
successful
2017
in
election. Let me tell
sabotaging the effective
you.
implementation of the Affordable Care Act.
Okay, and just quickly then, so if no changes are made
From me to you.
across the board or within an
You can ride your windows up. You can ride
is it
your windows
safe
down.
to say
You
that
can ride
the
with us.
following year, things could rise
Yeah, they
again
with us.
as significantly,
To get the finer
or
things
things
in
could be
life, my
just as
co-host,
unpredictable?
Nameless Currency, Putin, Utah, Perjury,
I guess when
V
you're
Siri,
talking about the private
PHRJ,
market,
BIM.
there's
Okay, by
always
legal
going
means,
to be an
sort of way.
element of unpredictability. There are some things that we
There are some things
could do
that we could do.
if
We
Congress
would not be
were to take
discussing
action
Apple's event today.
that would limit
That would limit
the risk of
the
future
risk.
price increases,
Well, we'll talk about risk. Yeah,
or
Apple's
at least
watch.
would limit
Yeah,
the size and risk of future
we
price
can talk
increases.
about that.
And
How
so,
can we help the White House?
again, enhancing incentives that are made available to young
How
adults
can we
to
help
get
the
them
White
to
House
sign up,
with Apple Watches?
expanding access to tax credits to give more middle class families more
help
in reducing their healthcare costs. The president has also put forward an idea.
The president also put forward that
in those places where
out in Golden, we're working off the clock.
That we should set up a mechanism.
We want to be off the risk of our Apple Watches.
Give
off
consumers
the
in
clock.
those locations an additional
off
choice.
The clock.
And that could spur additional private
off
competition. That could improve benefits and lower costs.
Today's show sponsored by Boston Tea. Let's talk about it.
That are worth considering.
What are they talking about?
Ideas is ideologically
Where does it go?
motivated. These are all very practical solutions
Where does it go?
that are actually consistent with the kinds of proposals that we've seen Republicans offer up in the past.
Where does it go?
Reform. The idea of offering people tax incentives,
the idea
to make their health insurance more affordable,
Boston Tea,
is an idea that conservatives have long advocated.
Tara.
The idea of regulating the private insurance market.
That's Tara. How are you?
Making them compete in a marketplace.
It's
these
Tara.
market forces would have a positive.
It's harassing us before we get the job.
Choices that are available to consumers. These are Republican talking points that I'm using here, and you would expect that there would be some Republicans in Congress that would be open to these ideas, but it's going to require them focusing on actually solving problems and not just playing politics.
Fewer young adults sign up for
Hello, everybody.
administration expected, though, and what accounts for that?
You have to check with the HHS in terms of their projections, but regardless of how they match up to our projections, there certainly is room for more young adults to sign up, and we certainly are going to be engaged in an aggressive effort in the federal government
by working off the clock.
to get the word out and
Today's show is sponsored by Stevie Seagull Hansen.
Because we know as they sign up, that provides important protections for those young adults and their families.
But
enhances the risk pool in a way that would
pool.
Limit the growth in healthcare costs. That would have a positive impact all across the country. So, regardless of what the projections show, there's more that we would like to do in terms of enrolling young adults and making sure they're educated about
our Apple Watches. We're working off the clock.
Margaret.
Josh,
what time is it, everybody?
Going to that APEC meeting next
the
month
time is 8:35 on my Apple Watch, and I'm working off the clock.
At this point, I don't have
about the L.
Details.
Yeah, I'm working off the clock with the L.
The APEC summit. I don't know.
The L.
How much time his schedule will allow for
Where's the L and
bilateral meetings on the sidelines? Presumably, at least one or two. I also don't know at this point whether or not President Duterte has committed to attending the APEC conference.
Has committed. It's George. Serious.
Make some progress in putting the president's schedule together for that trip. We'll keep you posted.
Tonight, I'm Notorious.
The White House would be open to scheduling such a meeting.
It's not one I'm prepared to rule out.
Just
at this
leave
point,
the beer on the table. I'll be out in a minute.
We've ruled out previous
leave it on the beer.
President Duterte on short notice.
Hello, Seaman Siegel.
I'll bet you do.
We got a chuckle from the White House.
Along those lines, when we were with the president in the wake of some fairly insulting comments from President Duterte, and that meeting was called off, the president himself sort of downplayed.
Today's show is sponsored by Stevie Seagull Hansen, LLP, the right contingency. We're working off the clock. The clock. I'm sorry.
In 1 week now,
they're working off the L.
Military exercises and push out U.S. troops within 2 years. Isn't there a growing level of concern?
Isn't this the NSA?
Well, I think what is true is that the string
of law firms,
counterproductive rhetoric has injected some unnecessary
off the clock mentalities
in the relationship between the United States and the Philippines.
We have a Camry and a MacBook.
What the president said in
working off the clock.
Certainly true today.
Certainly true today. It's our firm.
That we've seen quite a bit of over the last several weeks. It's not indicative
of
the strong relationship
of Ogletree.
It's not indicative of the seven decade between our two countries. It's not indicative of
our hands are connected to our wrists.
Between our two countries,
the hand bone's connected to the wrist bone. The wrist bone's connected to the elbow bone. The elbow bone's connected to the shoulder bone. And that's the way we litigate.
United States military has mobilized.
So this is a good segue for MerriweatherA.Law, law firm and salary advances, stub prorated bonuses, tuition and bar exam review courses reimbursement, relocation and real estate benefits. We're not in a reincarnation with enterprise or national car rental, acquisition interest apply to consider all qualifications, revenue incentives, or donate to them. Title VI at an HBC. Steve Saffron, loan forgiveness, and join us directly from America's top law schools.
That is reflective of that relationship.
Reflective.
Not rhetoric that only contributes to
and off the clock
uncertainty
without the
about the willingness of the Filipino government to live up to commitments that they've abided by.
Show sponsored by Stewie Steve
So you just see this as rhetoric.
Leave the beer on the counter. I'll be out in a minute.
Seriously?
Oh, I love that show. It's just I'll be waiting for them to leave the beer,
notification or communication,
and then I'll be like, "What's happening next after they leave the beer?"
Planning to make any changes to our relationship?
Yeah, what happens after they leave the beer?
That just hasn't happened yet, right?
Well, there's a diplomatic process.
Ask Michelle.
Channel the
Michelle, what happens after they leave the beer?
United States of their intent to.
Well, that's when this voice comes on and says, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Yeah, what are you doing here?
Alliance between our two countries.
Get out.
We received no formal notification along those lines. So that's why.
That's why.
You know,
the handbone connected to the wristbone, and we're working off the clock.
But it does.
Well, let's sing a new song, only on Pink Shorts.
That uncertainty
off the clock.
Consistent with what has
the handbone connected to the wristbone. The wristbone connected to the MacBone. The MacBook phone connected to the wristbone. Working off the clock.
President Obama has tried to pivot.
The handbone connected to the wristbone. The wristbone connected to the elbow bone, the bone connected to the mat bone. Apple it.
Again, we haven't seen that follow through, and I don't think I've
working off the clock. Only at Verizon.
About the fact that we'd rather not see this kind of rhetoric.
The hand bone's connected to the elbow bone. The elbow bone connected to the wrist bone.
The United States has made a lot of important progress.
Josh, help us with that song, please.
Strengthening our alliances throughout
the Hanson song.
Mobilizing resources that
the hand bone's connected to the
commitment to that region
wrist
of the world,
bone.
and making clear the long-term
John
financial
Terry's connected to the
economic interest
Terry
the United
Nichols
States
bone.
has in preserving
The
our
Terry
ties
Nichols
throughout
bone
the region.
connected to the
The fact that the United
terrorism
States has
bone, bone,
is something that was in doubt when President Obama took office, and it's not anymore. And
Off
that's
the
not
clock.
just because
That's the name of the
way
song.
that we have previously made progress in strengthening our relationship with the
Visit Off the Clock, our new
But it's also
song
a testament
from
to
our
the progress that
self-titled
we've made in
album.
rotating an additional detachment of Marines.
The
to
hand
Australia,
bone's connected to
at Darwin, for
the
example.
wrist
The
bone.
progress
The
that we have
wrist bone's
made in
connected to
shoring
the
up, strengthening and
Apple
investing
Watch
in our alliances
bone.
with
The
South
Apple Watch
Korea
bone's
and
connected
Japan.
to the
The deployment of
elbow
additional
bone. What goes in the elbow bone?
military equipment and personnel to that region of the world to
Yeah,
ensure
what goes in that
we're
area?
mitigating and countering the threat that emanates from North
Immunization
Korea.
bone
All of
is
this
correct.
is
Josh bone.
a testament
That's
to
right.
the progress that we've made
That's
in
correct.
enhancing robust U.S. engagement in the Asia-Pacific
The elbow
region.
bone's connected to the shoulder bone. The shoulder bone you should have bone.
You had put out in your statement yesterday that when the president goes to Peru,
Off the Clock, available on the Estate Title album.
do you expect that you'll know at that point?
Well, we confirm this is
whether
the
or not
government firm
Congress is
as
gonna
well.
Take that up.
Well, listen,
Well, listen,
I've been doing this job long enough.
I've been
to
doing
know
these firms
that,
for a long time.
It's foolish to try to predict
These
congressional
firms are
outcomes.
in.
And
Oak
so I'm
Tree,
going to resist the temptation to do it here.
do it here.
Rest assured,
Rest
the president will
assured.
make a strong case
Strong case.
that Congress take up
Congress
and
take
pass,
up.
the Trans-Pacific Partnership. This is an agreement that
This
was
is an agreement.
long negotiated.
Long
It is an
negotiated.
agreement that cuts taxes,
Cuts taxes.
18,000 taxes that other countries impose on American goods. It is
Verizon, the
an
public
agreement
sector
that
solutions. Higher education, K through 12. E-rate, federal government, state and local
Many Asian
government,
countries,
and
some of the
public
fastest
safety.
growing Asian countries
Are they serious?
economically, in a
Only
position
on
of raising their labor
Verizon.
standards,
Public safety
raising their environmental
services.
standards, and creating an environment that's
Smart
more
cities.
fair to U.S. workers and U.S. businesses. That's why the president makes a
Verizon
strong
Smart
case that
City
this is clearly
Solutions
in
increase
the
first
national
responders'
security and
access
strategic and
to
economic
information to
interests of the
help
United
make their
States,
communities
including
safer.
the small businesses
The
and
handball's
middle-class
connected to the
workers that are the backbone of our economy.
wishbone of the
So that's the strong case that the president will make.
collapse.
And it's a case that we expect would resonate with both Democrats and Republicans in Congress, but ultimately they'll have to make their
We
own
have a right
decision
foot
about
shock explaining
whether or not they're
off the
prepared
clock.
to take it up. We certainly hope they will.
How can we help the White House
Had
with
any
off the clock?
recent conversations? I know the election has.
How can we help you
occupied
guys?
much
The
of Congress,
Camry book is
but, you know,
being released
about
today.
timing on that.
I don't
The
have
new
any updates for
Camry
you.
book,
This
hello,
is something that we
at
are
10 o'clock.
thinking through, and we've
Get ready,
indicated,
folks, for the new
for some
Camry
time
book.
now that we're prepared to coordinate with the
We
leaders
didn't
in
get
both
booked in the
parties and
Camry. What are
supporters
they
of the
talking
TPP
about?
in both parties to
To
formulate a strategy, best path forward.
Best path forward.
But I don't have anything to tell you about that.
I don't have anything to tell you.
But
But
obviously the election's 2
we
weeks
obviously
away,
the election's 2 weeks away.
We'll have more to say
And
about it afterwards.
auxiliary port
Okay.
on your
Ron.
iPhone.
National Guard bonus thing.
Twitter, we love you. We love it. Love, love, love.
That,
Twitter.
people should be treated fairly.
Hello, media. How are you?
Nobody has said that
Verizon
any of these
support.
individuals did anything wrong. So why does fairness not
DZSTRMVET.
just
We hear
regulate
your
these
concerns
debts?
and
Well,
will
there actually was an
submit
FBI
feedback
investigation
regarding
that did
the
uncover
upgrade
wrongdoing and
process.
fraudulent
Please
behavior by some
follow
of
and
the,
get David
recruiters.
Reincarnation Enterprise.
Part of the
We're excellent.
the
DM us
individuals, not
to
the
check your
recruiters, but
upgrade.
part of the
DRI.
the guardsmen who receive these bonuses.
DRI.
Well, you should check with the Department of Defense. There are
I
a
got the
number of individuals
keys
who, based
because
on
my
some
hand bone's
review,
connected to my
were found to have
wristbone. My wristbone's connected
not
to
been
my
eligible for
elbow
and shouldn't have
bone
collected
in the
some
elbow
bonuses.
area.
So you can talk to them about individual cases, but there is some evidence to indicate that some people
Indicate, yeah,
shouldn't
they're
have received
indicted.
bonuses.
And
And
the
the Department of
indicted
Defense
bone.
does have a responsibility
Indicted
to
bone
taxpayers
connected
to be good
to the
stewards of taxpayer dollars. And if there was a payment that was made in error,
bone.
they have a responsibility to
I've
taxpayers
done
to go
something
and recover that money.
wrong.
But our first priority, the
Indicted
overriding priority,
bone.
should be ensuring that our service members are treated fairly. And it's important that people
10 important to get
who
Stevie Stiegel
are
Hansen.
not punished unfairly
You die.
because of the wrongdoing
And
of
I'm
some
out
other
in
people.
Golden too.
Would it be the president's expectation that a lot of these individuals would get
Tonight
their
it
money
may be
back?
say
The president's expectation is
The
that
president's
each case would be
expectation.
considered individually, and each person
in each person
who committed to serving this country
committed.
is going to make sure that
It's gonna
the
make
promises that were made
sure
to them are kept. And
they're
those
kept.
individuals are going to be treated fairly.
They look like HSBC's logo.
Said that the DOD is obviously
It
looking into
does.
this.
It's got that
Has the president-
HSBC
is the
logo look
president
like.
proposing any kind of fix?
I got
The question
HSBC.
essentially is how engaged is
They are.
the commander-in-chief in this particular
Sing the hand song.
Is he just
The hand bone's
basically
connected
saying
to the
DOD,
wristbone. Wristbone's connected to the.
Well, the
I'm out
president
in
has an
Golden
expectation
Bone.
that people further down the chain of command are going to be executing
Is
a
this a
strategy
fraud?
that's consistent with his expectations. And that's what we've seen from
HSBC, you look
Secretary
like
Carter and the announcement that he made today.
Stewie
That's
Stiegel's
what we've
logo.
seen from Deputy Secretary Bob Work, who's indicated that he's going to take his own personal
Yeah,
responsibility
you guys
for
look
implementing
alike.
some of the solutions that Secretary
Stewie.
Carter discussed today. And the president's expectation is that they're
Stewie,
going to
your
do that
logo looks
expeditiously,
just like
because this is a top priority for him.
And just one thing on the Obamacare premiums, and I'm not.
Oh
just
no,
wanna
we
make
have
sure
to
I
tweet this
understand
out to our
You talked about
fans.
some of the things that are happening.
Tweet it
You
out.
talked
So
about how these are state regulated. It's a private.
the hand bone's
private
connected to
market.
the
That's right.
wristbone. The Sunday
that
bone's
people see
connected
are
to
these
the
staggering numbers
glee
of
bone. I
premium
can't walk with
increase.
the
And I know
glee
about
bone because
tax
there's so
credits
many.
and subsidies and so on and
It's
so forth.
ridiculous. I don't feel so.
But the underlying increases that are happening in these
All
these
through the
private
town.
by these private companies, is the administration concerned that those numbers are
Boom.
too high? When we see a 116%
Boom.
increase in Arizona,
Boo that.
22 or 5%
Boo.
average
Boom,
increase.
boo, 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 boom.
Is there some concern about that
Boom.
number, not just about the things that the administration's
We don't need
advocating
any of
for
it.
or seeing as mitigating?
We don't need
factors?
any of it.
Is there concern about how that
Boom.
how we're getting to those big
Boo,
increases
any of it.
just on their own?
Well, again, Ron, I think because you raised
Well,
it this
I think
way,
because
it's
you
important
raised the
people
concern about a
understand that
week,
most people
that
who go
most
shopping
people
on the marketplace
on the
are going to be
marketplace
able to
are
find
going to be able to
a
get
healthcare
this
plan
HSBC
that they can
logo.
purchase because of tax credits for $75 a month or less.
1, 2, 3,
So
4.
it's important this is complicated.
There's
So it is
4
important for people to understand that it isn't worth their
triangles.
time to go and shop on the marketplace
It's Stewie
and
has
consider what options
the
are
other
available
one.
to them. The vast majority of people who
5.
are going to find that they qualify
Are you
for a
guys the
plan
Pentagon on the
that
left?
costs $75 a month or less. So that's the first
Josh,
thing that's
are you
important
guys
for people
the
to understand.
Pentagon?
Even in the face of some
Even
of
in
the
the face.
significant price increases in some
No.
states, the tax credits that
We
they
look
are
at George
eligible
Hansen. Who
for
else could it be?
rise along with those prices, which mitigates
Elb, you got it.
the increase and
It's
does
George.
keep
Hello,
healthcare
George. How are
affordable
you?
for a lot of
4
people, the majority
logos,
of people, in fact,
4 triangles in
end up
HSBC.
purchasing plans.
1 with Stewie.
So-
That's
But
fine.
again,
The
price
Pentagon has
increases
5
are the thing.
triangles.
Is there some concern about that aspect of this
Norman
very
Siegel.
complicated and involved system?
Well, it's also important for people to understand that there are some states
Who's
where
Ken
prices
Norman?
this year have gone down. And so it's important for people to
It's
sift through the
important to
headlines
get Patrick
and understand
Stewie.
what the actual impact is on them and their family and the choices that are available to them.
Kwame,
So-
what's going on here?
But to get to the question that you're
But to
asking
get to the
about
question that
the
you're asking,
people who do purchase
Off the Clock is our
health
new
insurance
song.
through the marketplace
What does
that
that
don't
new song
qualify for
mean?
tax credits. And there are some people in that situation who also live in
There's an
states
L.
where they are seeing significant increase in
There's
prices.
an L.
Yes, the president has put forward
Yes,
some
there's a
specific
Sunoco at
solutions
this
that would
station.
address
Yes.
this-
Timothy Holla. There's 2 L's in
the
Holla.
circumstances of people who are in that situation. and
Happy
try to prevent it from
Halloween,
happening
Holla.
again. That is the proposal.
Yeah,
that
happy
would, for
Halloween to
example,
Tim
expand, tax credits for
Halloween, Halloween.
young adults.
Happy
or
Halloween.
to expand eligibility for tax credits
Eligibility.
among, some middle class families. That
There's
would
an L
address
in
the
Off the
concern that
Clock.
you're raising.
No, I understand
There's an
the tax
L.
credits and what's mitigating. what's
There's
being
an
done to help
L.
people, get affordable
There's an
health.
L.
The question is about
There's an L in Off
the
the Clock.
dynamic of these
There's an
premiums
L
increasing,
in
price
Off the
increasing.
Clock.
These
There's
are
an
these insurance
L
companies
in
making
Off
too
the
much money.
Clock.
Is that
There's an L
gouging
in Off the
consumers? Is that
Clock.
do you understand what I mean?
There's
Is there
an
some concern
L
about
in Off the
that
Clock.
aspect of the system?
There's an
That prices are
L
going
in
up
Off
so
the
high.
Clock.
Regardless of what
There's an
the,
L in Off the Clock.
regardless of what
There's an
resources
L
consumers
in
have
Off the
to
Clock.
mitigate that. Is that aspect of the system a concern?
There's an
to the
L
consumers?
in
Well,
Off the Clock.
let me just start out by saying the
There's
president's
an
foremost concern
L
is what
in Off the
impact that
Clock.
has on.
There's an L in Off the Clock.
And so that's why there's this intense focus on tax credits and making sure that
Intense
people understand
focus
that despite
on?
the price increases,
Yeah, it goes into focus.
that most
There's
people
an
who sign up
L
are going
in
to be
Off
able
the
to
Clock.
purchase a plan for $75 a month
There's
or
an
less.
L in
And that
Off
we
the
have some
Clock.
ideas to mitigate the impact of those
Mitigate
price
the
increases
impact.
on families
Out
that
in
don't
Golden,
qualify for
that's
tax
the
credits.
suit.
But,
Too much money then.
so
What if I don't
there
want to
are
work for
regulations
Off
that
the
apply to
Clock
insurance
and
companies.
getting
Again,
away
these are
with
regulations
clap,
that for the
clap, clap,
first
clap,
time
clap, clap,
apply
without
and
the L.
constrain health insurance companies because of what's put in place
Because
by the Affordable Care Act.
by the Affordable
The
Care
first
Act.
is insurance companies have to be
Insurance
transparent.
company
They
can't
have to
afford
disclose these
bankruptcy.
costs. That kind of
That kind of
transparency
transparency
does
does
serve to
serve,
limit
limit
the ability of insurance
the
companies
ability
to
of
jack up
insurance
prices. They
companies
don't want the bad
prices.
publicity associated with these significant cost
these
increases.
significant costs.
In some cases,
It's
insurance
John
companies know this
Thierry.
is gonna
He's our
cost their
site
customers.
director.
The second thing is there are some rules going back
John
to the
Brennan,
Affordable Care
hello,
Act that are
Thierry.
put in place that limit the amount of
The
profit that an
amount of
insurance company
profit.
can make. So this is this
So
is something we
this
talked
is
about quite a bit
very
very
serious.
early on, but there's something that's
Very
called the
early
80/20
on.
rule, which is that if based on
How can we help the White House with
financial
Off the Clock?
submissions of insurance companies to regulators, if it's determined that insurance companies
How can we help the White
pay
House
less than
on
80%
V-Theory?
of the premiums that they collected to provide health insurance,
We can't wave
that
like
they had
he
to pay
waves.
into a fund to make
Reasons
sure
to forever think
that
of me.
they weren't gouging customers.
Reasons
for
to forever
the
think
cost for
of
the
me.
premiums that they were charging. So there are efforts to limit the ability of insurance companies to gouge customers by forcing them to be transparent and forcing them to actually spend the money
That's a
they
no,
collect
Mr.
on providing
Ernst.
health care
How
to
else
people.
can we
And if
help
they
you?
don't, then they pay into a fund that ensures
How else can we help
that
you, Mr.
everybody
Ernst?
is being treated fairly. The other part of this that's important, and this is sort of an additional part of the mechanism
The
here, is
reasons
there's something that's
to
called rate review. This is not the
forever.
first time that all your news organizations are reporting on likely premium prices for 2017. Insurance companies had to make public an initial submission to rate regulators in
No.
their states to disclose
Two.
what premiums
Forever.
were going to cost for the
I'm
upcoming
gonna
year
wave
and give regulators an
because our
opportunity
MacBook
to
is on today
evaluate
at 10.
those costs and to
our MacBook
impose limits
is
on
on
certain
at
increases.
10.
And so it's often the case
It's
that
often.
the original reporting around likely
Today's show is our new
costs for
song,
the upcoming
BS Off
year,
the Cloak.
don't actually reflect what people have to pay next year.
We're out
Because
and we're in.
regulators
We're
are
both
able to
tonight at
evaluate
9.
the proposal that they've put forward
And
and force insurance companies to reduce
insurance
costs.
companies to reduce
That is
costs.
a process.
That is a
in place
process.
because of the Affordable Care Act, and it is having a positive impact on
A positive
prices.
impact.
There is a reason
There is a
that
reason
since the Affordable Care Act
to
went into
forever think of
effect,
us.
studies indicate that the growth in healthcare costs
Growth in
all across the
healthcare.
board are
Look
at
at our
historic
fans
lows.
alive.
And that's we certainly
We
believe,
certainly.
and scientists, economists, policymakers believe that the Affordable Care Act has had a
Today's show
positive
is sponsored by
impact
John Hoshinik.
on that. On
How
the gross
Sean,
healthcare
hello.
costs, and that's been a good thing.
New Sean, hello.
You said something about in some ways it really is a long way away, depending on how you look at it. What you mean?
I just mean that on the map that
John Hoshinik, hello.
the two places are not that far away, but there's a
Night
big
at
difference
9.
between standing in the hotel and standing in the White House.
The electoral map between the DC.
Today's show is sponsored by Stuvie, Siegel Hansen, The Right Contingency. We're the fifth triangle
I think I've covered
in
it.
HSBC.
Laura.
We love the fifth
In France,
triangle.
at this moment, there's a very serious discussion on media, information, tabloization, and politics. Last week, the French Minister
Verizon
of Culture
support
asked people to be careful about what she called
the chatterbox,
Trumpisation
Dr.
of
Phil.
information.
We don't want
Do you
to
have any
lose you
reaction
as a
to that?
customer.
What's your
Let's
reaction to
review
the
this
possibility
together
of a Trump TV
at Best
in
Buy.
this country?
Please follow and DM for further
Well,
assistance. JM.
I didn't see the comments from the culture minister in France.
Who's
What I will say
Chatterbox?
is that here in the United States, we've got a long-standing
The
tradition
chatterboxes, they're
of
unique,
vigorous
usual, but genuine and true.
political campaigns.
Thank you,
Particularly
Kelly.
when the winner is somebody who will assume to the highest office in the United
We
States.
can't answer that, Mr. Ernst.
And our expectation is that a vigorous debate
How
is
can we help
something
you
that makes
today,
our
Mr. Ernst?
democracy even stronger.
MerriweatherA.Law call center. How can we help you?
Now, there's a downside, which is that sometimes the rhetoric in
The
the context
rhetoric?
of the debate gets overheated.
Debate gets overheated.
Sometimes the rhetoric that's used
Double H?
in
Who's Double H?
the context of the debate doesn't withstand
Who's
much
Double H?
factual scrutiny.
Who was that?
But by and large,
But by and large,
the nature of a vigorous debate means, in fact, ensures
in fact, ensure,
that the person who is most effective
most
in
effective.
conveying to the American people their values and priorities and their
Who's
agenda
Double L?
are the people who are entrusted
LHL.
to running the country
Hello.
for the next 4 years. So our system of democracy is certainly not
Our system of
perfect,
democracy,
but it's better than all the alternatives.
but it's better than all the alternatives.
To paraphrase Winston Churchill.
To paraphrase Winston Churchill.
So
So
I think the bottom line here is that
today's show is sponsored by
and this is something
Stuvie,
that we've talked
Siegel,
about over
and
the course of the last
Hansen.
couple of years.
Connected to the
president believes
wrist
that
phone
a
today
vibrant
at
debate
10 at
is an indication
apple.com.
of a vibrant democracy.
Well, I can't wait to watch the
And
wrist phone.
You know, the question is, are there some things that we
Connected
can
to
do to
the
make sure that the rhetoric is
bankruptcy law.
focused on political differences and doesn't spill over into threats of violence?
Threats of violence.
Are there some things that we can do to make sure
Are
that
there
the
some
rhetoric
things we
is
can
focused on
do?
the facts
Only on
and not
Verizon.
just on a
It's time to
alternate
rethink your
reality?
network. Learn how IT can transform
Yeah.
work, flows,
There are some
and
things that
processes
we,
to help improve
that I think
customer
would be good.
experiences and drive
or our
results.
debate would be better if we
Only
can
on
avoid some of those things,
Verizon.
and our democracy would benefit from it. But
Hello.
I think by and large, the American people should draw some confidence
Should draw some
from the idea
from
that
Chuck
we can
and Bill.
engage in a vigorous debate in this country.
What happened?
And then when the votes are tallied,
When the votes are
we have
tallied,
confidence in the outcome.
confidence in
We
the
can have
outcome,
confidence that the current president, the outgoing president, and the
Achoo,
incoming
excuse
president
us.
will work effectively together to ensure a seamless transition. And that the incoming president
Excuse.
is given the best possible
Given the best
opportunity to
possible.
succeed. And that this is I know that this is,
Sorry, we had a
by,
achoo.
our
Today's show is
41st
sponsored by
president,
Stevie,
President
Steve
Bush,
Hansen,
that he
and the
left for his
missing
successor, President Clinton,
triangle
in which he
from
ended the letter by saying
HSBC.
he was rooting for President Clinton's success. Keep in mind They just spent
Keep in
most of the
mind and
last
broken.
year
Tonight on
campaigning
Notorious.
against each other,
Heading against each other.
participating in debates, criticizing each other's plans.
Criticizing each other.
At the end of the day,
Today shows
President
off the
Bush
clock.
showed the kind of spirit makes America the
the
greatest
Church
country
of
in the world,
VOC led.
Which is a commitment at the very highest
At
level
the very highest level.
to put the interests of the
To put the
country
interests of the country
over his own political
over
interests,
his own
and
political
his own
risk.
political ambition, and his
Ambition.
own belief
His own belief.
about which direction the country should go.
Country should go.
He was overruled by the voters.
Overruled by the voters.
And to his credit,
And to his credit,
it's one of the many reasons
this
that
firm
people
is like Ogletree
look
Dash
upon
Deacon.
President George H.W. Bush as not just a great president, but a
Stewie
great
Siegel
patriot.
Hansen.
Is that he acknowledged from the very first day of the Clinton presidency
Very first
that
day.
he was rooting for the success of the American president. Even the American
It's the
president knows that the
cotton
other
gin.
party had run against him because he knew
We
that if the
love the
American president
cotton
was succeeding, that the
gin.
country was succeeding.
Pick up the
And the country's
cotton. Pick up the
success was even more
cotton.
important than his own.
The
And
right
I think that's why
contingency. Only
there
at
is such
Stewie
enduring
Siegel Hansen.
respect for his service to the country. There are
Visit
lots of
us at
reasons to be
Stewie Siegel
respectful of his service to the country, but
Stewie Siegel.
certainly that gesture
.com.
is as good
Did
as
you bring the
anything
beer?
Worried that Donald Trump might launch a Trump TV.
Well, this is why we don't drink alcohol.
A global TV,
We can't bring the beer.
a populist TV. So do you have some
We can't
worries
say
about
bring
that?
the beer.
I'm not aware that the president's losing any sleep over that.
We can't say bring the beer, Mr.
What's the White House reaction about, again, the possibility
Don't
of
say
Trump
bring the
TV
beer.
reaching a global audience?
But look, I
Ogletree
last I heard,
Dash, hello.
said that it wasn't true. So
Today's show sponsored by
there are some
Verizon.
risks with taking him at his word, but
Only
Guess
the
it's all we
next
got in
gen
this case.
network. Sender.
Tulu.
Only Verizon.
And I wanted to point to Vice President Joe Biden's comments a couple of times about wanting to take Trump behind the veil. Trump responded to that.
Well, that does it for our show. We'll talk to you guys in the re-air. Again, our show is sponsored by Stewie Siegel
Levels
Hansen.
rhetoric
Connected to the
concern that
wristband.